Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jerry Junkin, and it is my great pleasure to welcome you, both our live audience and those watching online through the live web streaming, to this very special concert tonight. I, like so many of you in tonight's audience, have been fortunate to have been brought into the orbit of that most amazing of musicians and human beings, Ryan Anthony, and of course his wife, Nikki. Ryan would not tell you this, but he began this day, today, as he so often does, in Dallas, getting 2 infusions, taking 19 pills, mostly chemotherapy, and then flew here to make it in time for a 3-hour rehearsal this afternoon with this wonderful band. He's absolutely one of my heroes. And of course, as we all know, he is only one of millions of people who are living with cancer. Tonight, we want to thank both certainly the ITG, and in particular, President Cathy Leach, the board, the staff, and the members. You know, it occurs to me that if there are members of ITG who are here, but they are not at this concert right now, they're communists. It's crazy. The Ryan Anthony Foundation, cancer, that's true. The Ryan Anthony Foundation, CancerBlows' mission is to support research for blood cancers through exciting and unique musical events featuring the talents of brass musicians worldwide. Over the past 4 years, CancerBlows concerts and recordings have become a beacon of hope and healing for patients of all types of cancers and their families. Since the start of the Ryan Anthony Foundation in 2013, they have received over $2.5 million in cash and in-kind donations, and all proceeds from those donations and sales are given directly to cancer research. It is CancerBlows' responsibility to maintain relationships with the leading research foundations so that your dollar can be used for the most good. Tonight's concert has one slight program change. We will begin with Peter Meechan's Remission, followed by Legacies of Honor. Remission was written to open the concert this past May at the Meyerson Symphony Center in Dallas. CancerBlows, The Legends Return. According to the dictionary, remission also means forgiveness and release. When living with cancer, they both become intensely important. CancerBlows is thrilled to partner with the amazing United States Air Force Band of the West under the direction of Commander David Alpar for tonight's concert. Due to the involvement of using a military ensemble, we cannot actively ask for funds from the stage once they join us. The only fundraising and financial opportunities for CancerBlows tonight is through donations and merchandise. I'm sure that none of the artists participating in tonight's concert would have the temerity to ask for financial contributions during the performance. If any of you went to Texas A&M University, temerity means to have excessive confidence. And of course, that's certainly not this group. Normally, we would ask you to take your cell phone out, show it to the person next to you, and turn it off so that everyone knows that their cell phones are off. Tonight, we'll just ask you to put them in silent mode, but you should keep them on, because I want you to take out your phone at any time during the concert and text this number, 972-203-6707. That is 972-203-6707, and follow the prompts to text GIVE and donate to the foundation. Please visit www.councerblows.com where you'll see a donate button. Visit the merchandise table tonight and booth all week long to purchase merchandise or make a donation, and your giving is tax deductible. The Ryan Anthony Foundation is run by volunteers, keeping the costs down so proceeds can go where they need to, which is curing cancer. Once again, that phone number is 972-203-6707. And in addition, you'll notice a Yamaha B-flat trumpet on stage with us this evening. This trumpet will or has been played, or at some point will have been played, by every guest artist on the stage. An autograph certificate by all the artists and a photo from this evening will accompany this trumpet with its new owner. And we'll begin an auction for this Yamaha trumpet this week. Also, at the CancerBlows booth, there will be a raffle with merchandise, mutes, gig bag, and accessories provided by generous sponsors. Please make sure to stop by and participate, win prizes, and support the cause. And by the way, that number once again is 972-203-6767. 972-203-6707. Say it back with me. 972-203-6707. Brilliant. CancerBlows concerts are more than just creating awareness and fundraising, however. They are also opportunities to celebrate life. Tonight, you'll hear music played by friends, creating a musical family. You will witness laughter as well as tears, and there is no better way to express and feel human emotions, obviously, than through music. I know that you will enjoy tonight's concert as we celebrate life, music, trumpet playing, the start of a great convention, but most especially, hope.
Thank you so much for coming this evening. Most of you would have come here anyways. You're part of the convention. But for those of you who are not part of the convention, for coming and supporting this great concert. So we switched the program around. And if you're not familiar with the International Trumpet Guild Conference, every concert starts with a trumpet ensemble. And throughout the whole week, there's lots of trumpet ensembles. If you're at the Alamo earlier today, you heard our large trumpet ensemble. So we're going to keep with that same theme and do one of our own with all the artists that are going to play tonight. We're all going to come out here, and once they get these stands ready, I'm going to ask everybody to come out. The piece that we're playing is called Half Dome Fanfare. It's by Raymond Burkhart, and he is a trumpet player in LA. A lot of the compositions that you hear tonight are written by current trumpet players, or former trumpet players. I think they're all actually still current, playing, including this one with Bert Truax, who was conducting. And so it's kind of nice to be able to also be able to showcase some of these great composers. This particular fanfare, when I first heard it, it was only a minute long, and it was called Yosemite Fanfare. And we did it last year as part of the CancerBlows A Legends Return. And if you're intrigued, parts of it is in this one, but you can also hear it on our CD that is out in the lobby. Just in case you want to hear what the original was like, you can. You can visit our lobby out there and to hear the CD. But I told him, I said, this is so great, you should make it longer. So he wrote a 3-minute piece, and up until about 3 hours ago, it had never been heard before. We read it today, and so you're about to hear the world premiere of this piece. It was specifically written for tonight for this group of people. When you gotta go, I don't know what. But one of the great things is not only on stage, it's hard to see, but one of the people I'm most excited to join us tonight is Marie Speciale. And if any trumpet players, everybody knows Marie. And so when I read that she's going to be involved, I said, you have to participate. And of course, as sweet as she always is, oh, I don't want to play, I don't want. So I said, great, you're going to conduct. So equally important is conducting this world premiere. So this is Half Dome Fanfare by Raymond Burkhart. And of course, Jens has to say something because I am. Yes. And Phil, and anybody else back there holding a trumpet. We're just talking. So now we will play the world premiere, and I'm going to play that Yamaha trumpet. So let me grab that.
Hi, everyone. It's great to see everyone out there tonight. I'm Cathy Leach. I'm president of the International Trumpet Guild, and I am not a communist. So, welcome to the 43rd Annual ITG Conference. We are so excited to be here in San Antonio for ITG's first ever collaboration with Ryan Anthony and CancerBlows. How are you liking it so far? Woo! Yes. Many, many thanks to Ryan and Nikki Anthony and the Ryan Anthony Foundation for allowing us to collaborate in this way. Also, I want to thank the Hyatt for housing us. Thanks to the huge team of ITG members, board of directors, and volunteers, which is the people you'll see around in the red shirts. Don't forget to thank them. Without all those people, this conference could not happen. And I want to send extra special thanks to our sensational conference director, J.C. Dobzhaluski, for organizing the entire week and being liaison with CancerBlows. Thanks to all those people. A wise friend of mine said to me recently, it's very important as you get older to be around people that you want to be like. And I believe that is why ITG is here this week all together, being around people that we want to be like. We hope, ITG hopes, that each of you will come away from this concert and this conference inspired and infused with strength, because you find people you want to be like, and certainly people that you want to sound like. I know that I would love to be like Ryan Anthony, with his grace, courage, and strength, and I'm guessing that everybody in this room feels the same way. Also, all the people on stage, after all, they're here to play with us and for us. For those of you in the audience who are not familiar with ITG and the trumpet world, our goals are to promote communications among trumpeters and to improve the artistic level of performance, pedagogy, and literature associated with the trumpet. We hope you enjoy our first concert and invite you to all our other concerts this week. To those joining us via live stream, we're very happy that you are here with us. Trumpeters, enjoy your week, and remember, keep calm and play on. Now let's hear the rest of the concert. Thank you.
I'm going to make this very short because the person coming up here next is the highlight of the evening, at least always for me. One of the greatest honors that I can say in my life is that this person coming up I can call a friend. He has been one of my idols ever since I could remember, and probably everybody in this room as well. He's been my hero, and to have him involved in these concerts is probably one of the biggest honors of my life. So I'm going to stop talking now. The one and only, one of the greatest performers, entertainers, trumpet players, put whatever else you want on that list, Doc Severinsen.
Thank you very kindly. Thank you. I think I'll just go home now. I'm delighted to be here with a lot of friends
that I have up on the stage, all my friends, and to take part in this tribute to Ryan Anthony and the awareness he's brought throughout the world. Seriousness of his illness never slowed him up. And I think I find myself measuring my personal behavior next to his. I want to be as good as he is. And I've come to the conclusion that it's just not going to happen. But I'll try. I will try. And this first piece that we're going to do, well, you've had several brilliant pieces of music already, but this one is special to me because when I was a little kid growing up in the wilds of Eastern Oregon, my dad was the town dentist, was born in Paris, came to this country, and got married, and I came along. And I'm sure I was a difficult child. I'm not any bowl of roses right now, but my dad was obviously given the task of putting me to bed, which was not easy. You know how little kids can be. And so after fighting it through for a while, I would imagine, I wasn't conscious of any of this. My dad, who was a wonderful violin player, found that by taking out his old violin and sitting down on the edge of the bed, he could quiet me down by playing Fritz Kreisler's Caprice Benoit. And that's the first music in my life that I have any remembrance of at all. We're not going to play it. I'm just telling you this stuff. Now we're going to play it. See how you like it. And if you go to sleep, it's okay.
We're going to do a little change of pace. Part of these programs, the way that I think about it, I mean, its initial way of starting was to bring awareness to cancer research, but it's really more about a celebration of life. To have so many great people coming together and playing music. I mean, that's what this is all about. It's what we try to do when we spend our hours practicing, is that this is the reward, to be able to have fun and be able to make a difference. And that's the whole purpose of these concerts, is to celebrate life and how great it is. And certainly if anybody has been given any type of horrible diagnosis, and once you get past the reality of what you just heard, you look at life differently, and you realize that truly every day is a gift. And situations like this, this is what we live for. This is what keeps us going. This is what it's all about. And so I try to keep these concerts fun, but at the same time, we do need to acknowledge the cause. And so the next few selections we're going to do are three just really beautiful pieces. The first one was Gabriel's Oboe that I'm going to play, and I'd been playing this piece for quite some time, and I did it 3 years ago at one of the CancerBlows concerts, and it seems like almost now I can't go anywhere without playing it, and it's always asked, and I thought, well, I'd love to do it here at the ITG conference. Following that is another piece called Song of Hope that was written 3 years ago for the first CancerBlows concert. It was actually originally a part of a second movement of a cornet concerto with brass band, and I just loved it. It was something that Peter Meechan had wrote, and so he changed into a trumpet trio. And then just the classic What a Wonderful World that we're going to do, and Rich Kelley is going to both play and sing on that. But I think so often we hear about cancer, and unless you've had someone in your family that's been touched by it, it's always something that's with somebody else. And I certainly thought that would never be the case with me until 5 years ago. In 2018, I'm just going to give you a few stats here so we realize why we're here and why we're doing all this. In 2018, it was estimated 1.8 million new cases of cancer will be diagnosed in the U.S., and over 600,000 people will die from the disease this year, which means approximately 38% of all men and women will be diagnosed with cancer at some point during their lifetimes. Now, this is a pretty easy stat to actually figure out, 38%. So it's basically 1 out of 3. So you can look to your left, and you can look to your right, and if they don't have cancer, then your odds just went up. So you got to think about one out of every 3. As far as blood cancers, new cases of blood cancers are expected to account for 10% of the estimated new cancer diagnosed. So approximately every 3 minutes, one person in the United States is diagnosed with blood cancer. So if we were to keep this at a 90-minute concert, which is too late, there would be 30 new patients just during this concert alone that would be diagnosed, which means in approximately every 9 minutes, someone in the U.S. has died from a blood cancer, which means 160 people each day, or more than 6 people every hour, or 9 people will die during this concert of blood cancers. The good news, though, is that in 2016, there was an estimated 15.5 million cancer survivors in the United States. The number of cancer survivors is expected to increase to over 20 million by 2026. So that's where we're headed. The fact that we can treat so much of this now. And I will say that tonight, I know there are several cancer survivors that are on this stage, 2 particularly with multiple myeloma, myself and Brian Walker. I'm sorry if you did not want me to mention that, it's too late. But he has been unbelievable and an absolute hero of mine of the way he's been dealing with everything in remission. And with myeloma, which is the cancer that I have, the risk is 1 in 143 will have it. And I don't know how many people we have here tonight, but if I knew that, we'd be able to figure out putting that in perspective. An estimated 30,000 new cases of myeloma are expected to be diagnosed or were diagnosed in 2017. And nearly 12,600 people died from the disease in 2017 this year, is what they're expecting. And the 5-year survival rate for people with multiple myeloma is about 49% still. But that's the good news, because it used to be the 5-year relative survival rate was only 12% from 1960 in the 60s up until 1973, and now it's 50%, like I said, starting in 2006 to 2012. So the work that is happening now, and I'd like to say even the work that we are doing, is making this difference that has changed the stats from 12% to over 50%. And people used to say, well, what are you doing? There's so many things out there. It's just whatever you make is just going to be a drop in the bucket. And my response is it only takes 1 drop to be the tipping point. And if we can be that drop, then all this is worth it. And so I thank all of you again for being here and for helping us with this, because it is making a difference. And we have 110,000 people in the U.S. that are living with or in remission from myeloma now. And again, 2 people tonight, we make up that over 110,000. It's a treatable disease, it's not curable, but I truly believe, I have to believe, that in my lifetime it will be a completely livable, chronic, and curable disease. So like I said, the survival rate has changed, it's currently up now, and it's just only going to get better. And I thank all of you for that. But while we're having fun and we're celebrating life, let's also not forget the reason and the cause why this was brought together and why these artists give up their time. And I'm always amazed that when others see the unity and the force of so many people coming together and being able to use music, there is nothing that you can't put a price on that, and there is no boundary of how far we can take this to change lives. And that's the beauty of music. That's the beauty of these people that you see here today. So I thank you. Our largest beneficiary, which I have to mention, is the Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation and the Multiple Myeloma Research Consortium. It's comprised of 25 best-in-the-class cancer centers all working together, and that's amazing in itself, that they've come together to collaborate, to work together, to find out, to fight together, to share their data. And because of that, 10 new drugs have been brought to patients in the last decade. It's created a 40% improvement in the 5-year survival rate and 3 times more of a lifespan for patients alone in the last 10 years from this foundation. And so that's one of our biggest beneficiaries that we're trying to help. And the stuff that they're doing now is great because it's goes across the board. It's not just blood cancer, it's being used for all cancers. And so with that note, it would be my honor if you would allow me to play Gabriel's Hobo for you. Thank you. going bigger, of course.
Ryan Anthony's playing the Picket Brass 5CE on piccolo for the next race.
Now you're going to steal my mouthpiece.
I'm going to steal it, of course. You sound great.
too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, bright, blessed days, and dark, scared nights, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yeah, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. Babies crying, watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yeah, to myself, what a wonderful world.
there. Hello again. It's my pleasure to present an award tonight. I'm presenting to Alan Siebert the ITG Award of Merit. This award is given to those who've made substantial contributions to the art of trumpet playing through performing, teaching, publishing, research, composition, and/or support of the goals of the International Trumpet Guild. Alan has been professor of trumpet at Cincinnati College Conservatory of Music at the University of Cincinnati and has been on the faculty of numerous other universities. He was a member of the San Diego Symphony and principal of the San Diego Opera and San Diego Chamber Orchestras. Currently, he's a member of the Dayton Philharmonic. He has recorded with Summit Brass, Carillon Brass, West Wind Brass, and the San Diego Brass Consort, to name a few groups, and as soloist and chamber musician on the Summit, Pro Arte, and many other labels. He's co-author of the book Teaching Brass, a resource manual, and his students are playing and teaching all over the world. The full bio, if I invite you to read, is on page 37, right by the giant picture of Alan Siebert in your program. Alan has been a longtime member of ITG and recently served a term as president and most recently past president. And I was lucky enough to be in school with Alan at the University of Michigan, and because of that, I do have a couple of Alan Siebert stories. Just in case any of you don't know Alan, one of the things that I like the very best about him is that he always seems to be capable of having a good time, no matter what's going on. One thing I remember is Alan had brought his family, his entire family, wife Cathy and 2 boys, to my school when he was going to do a clinic. Well, he did the clinic, and he had brought a minivan, of course, because he had 2 kids, family, bicycles on top of the minivan, and ready to go have a great time on a camping trip. So he did the clinic at my school, and at the time my office was in an annex, a different part of the campus. So we're driving back to my office, drive right up to the building, and all of a sudden I hear a terrible crunching sound. And we all got out of the car and looked, and the bike rack was off the top of the van, the bicycles were demolished, and there were some extremely low-hanging power lines that weren't like that before we had driven next to the building. So he had wiped out the power lines between the 2 buildings, and anyone else, I think that might have ruined their day, but Alan just went to the store and bought another bike rack. So went on his way. I remember that to this day. The other thing I remember, we, in the Knoxville Symphony, where I played for many years, one year we were doing Mahler Symphony No. 8, Symphony of 1000. And so I invited Alan to come and play one of the trumpet parts. So he came, and we rehearsed, everything was fine, and it got up to the day of the concert, and all of a sudden we noticed that in the other part of the Knoxville Civic Auditorium where we were playing, there was a Coliseum side. And on the Coliseum side, the same night we were performing Mahler 8, they were having a paintball tournament. So on the marquee outside advertising the concert, one side it said, Knoxville Symphony Orchestra, Mahler 8, Symphony of 1000. The other side said, Splat 1 Adventures. So Alan just thought that was the greatest thing. He got all the whole trumpet section in our black concert clothes up on the marquee, said, we have to take a picture of this. So he arranged to have a picture with Knoxville Symphony Orchestra, Mahler 8, Symphony of 1000, Splat 1 Adventures, with the trumpet section on the marquee, and by golly, he put that picture in the ITG Journal. You can see it. So Alan likes to have a good time, no matter what. You can't find a better person, a person more devoted to the trumpet. He does everything you can do with the trumpet, more devoted to his students or more devoted to ITG. So please help me congratulate Alan Siebert for the Award of Merit.
Thank you. Let's get a picture. There you go. Hope it's not upside down. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Just a few words before I go, because I want to get out there with you guys and listen to the concert from the front, the right side. Been active with ITG for a long time. This is something I decided when I was in college I wanted to be involved with. So I got involved and looked for something to do, went to the conferences, played, volunteered for things, and that's something you guys can all do. And I'm so glad you're here. And one of the things we talked about, about 6 years ago with Ryan was having this thing happen. Having this as the opening night for a conference. And by golly, it happened. So thank you very much. I'm very honored to get this award.
Everything happens for a reason, and it's our job to pay attention to when those signs are happening and to take advantage of being in the moment. The very fact that Ryan Anthony has had the vision to put this kind of an organization together and put these concerts on, it's a testament to his ability to bring people together, and it's a very microcosm of what we all as humans should be doing, which is spending time with one another, both giving and taking, and being in the moment. To that end, the sheer irony of the immediacy of the moment occurred just 5 short days ago in Los Angeles at a random chance happening where I ran into a gentleman who had nothing to do with the trumpet, and we started talking, and I said that I was going to be coming here to the ITG to CancerBlows. And he said that his uncle used to play trumpet and still in fact does play trumpet. And I said, really? Well, where does he live? He says he lives in Austin, Texas. I said, well, what's his name? He says, it's Doc Bryant. Excuse me, security. This is my moment, okay? Not yours. So I chatted this young man up, and he said that he was friends with Doc Severinsen, and I said, Doc Severinsen is my friend, and I'm going to be seeing him at this wonderful event at the ITG. And the opening concert is about CancerBlows. And this young man, in that moment of spontaneity, he almost burst into tears because he said, I want to send my uncle up there. I'm going to send a driver for him. I'm going to ship him up there, and I want you to take good care of him because he is also going through his own cancer walk right now. And he couldn't believe that all of this was happening right at that moment. It gets better. I walked on stage to see this fantastic band rehearsing, the Air Force Band. Please, a round of applause for them. And it turns out that young Doc Bryant, who's wearing a very proud Korean combat hat at the tender age of 91, was also in the Air Force, so I couldn't believe the irony of that moment. So, sir, thank you for your service. So, when you get a man at, find the man in the Korean hat, thank him for what he's done, and you can find him at tomorrow night's 11 p.m. jam session. That's going to happen. Thank you ever so much for being our special guest tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Doc Bryant. We, who are the performers tonight, have had a chance to play with some of the greatest players on the planet. If you look through the resumes of the people that have been on stage, it's just been astounding, and it would take too long to talk about all of them, but I'm going to take a selfish moment to talk about one of them in particular. For those of you that know anything about the brass quintet world, the most famous brass quintet trumpeter in history, and yes, that is a superlative, it will not be argued with, is standing right on stage, Mr. Ronald Romm. So imagine our enthusiasm, my own, Joe Burgstaller, and of course Ryan. All three of us all had the chance to play in the Canadian brass, so this is a type of a reunion moment. And for those of you who remember that first record that came out way back in the day when Ronnie did that spectacular Carnival of Venice, the Del Steigers version, we all heard it on vinyl. Kids, those are these big plastic things that you serve salads on occasionally. And we're going to recreate that moment up here tonight with the great Ronnie leading the three of us in a version of the Carnival of Venice. And ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ronald Romm and three other guys.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Bill Stoneman. I'm the professor of trumpet at Messiah College. I'll start again. No valves. My name is Bill Stoneman. I'm the professor of trumpet at Messiah College in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. And it's my distinct pleasure to introduce this next piece and composer to you. The piece is Victory Fanfare, and the composer is Benjamin Blasco. In my 22 years of teaching at Messiah College, I've hoped to inspire some students along the way. But in this particular case, it was the student who did the inspiring. Ben Blasco is an incredibly talented trumpet player and composer. And when he came to me near the end of his time at Messiah College to share with me that he had a cancer diagnosis and asked me to help him stay in school and to please not send him home, but to allow him to continue his work and finish his degree. We worked together to do everything that we could to make that happen. We rearranged his schedule. He stayed a little bit longer. We eventually moved his student teaching placement closer to the college so that he could get back and also have time for his treatments. And in that time, I watched this young man get up at 2 in the morning to go to his chemo treatments and then come back for classes in the morning and stay through ensembles in the evening, and meanwhile not complain about an ounce of it. He finished his degree at Messiah College, and around that time wrote this piece, Victory Fanfare, and of course I went to my Tromba Mundi brothers and asked if we could play and record it, and we have, and we're excited to play it for you tonight. I learned a lot of things from Ben Blasco through that process, that faith and belief will do a lot to carry us through. I also believe that none of us really know how strong we can be until we have absolutely no other choice. I'm happy to tell you that Ben Blasco continues to be an inspiration. This fall, he'll start as the director of bands at Lipscomb University in Nashville, and about 2 weeks ago walked getting his doctorate at the University of North Texas in conducting. So I hope you enjoy this piece tonight, Victory Fanfare.
again for coming out tonight. We have one more number, and Morgan set up and asked all the artists, everyone who's played tonight, to come on out. And as we conclude, and again, I just have to thank everybody with ITG for when they first called a little over a year ago and said, would you be interested in doing this? And I want to say, is this Jens on the phone? Assuming it was some prank call. And then when I realized no, they were actually being real about it, I was stunned that such an incredible organization as ITG would want to do something like this. And so I'm honored. It's really a blessing to be here. Thank you so much for coming out and supporting it, and all of those of you who are watching us online. And again, please visit the tables out in the lobby if you're here all week as well. Go visit our booth. And I hope you enjoyed tonight as much as I know we all have. We've been having some great fun here, and I hope we're not the only ones. So I thank you for your participation and coming out. So with that being said, we need to have the leader of the pack come out and set up this last number. So once again, the one and only Doc Severinsen, who's behind me. Oh, he's in the middle. Well, Doc, they can't hear you without a microphone. Or did you not want to say anything? Hold on. If nothing else, I have to stand next to Doc because this is a very, yes, this is a very, it's always an important occasion when I'm with Doc, and he challenged me many years ago, and this needs to be public record.
You know what?
But I think I have more sparkles in my jacket than Doc Severinsen. I can retire.
No. Listen to me. What I have to tell you, I'm so proud of you. Look at that outfit. Look at that. Look at that.
I'm trying. I'm learning.
Now, mind you, it's nothing I would wear.
Okay.
But you look good in it.
Well, thank you.
You're so damn handsome you could wear a gunny sack and look good.
Ladies and gentlemen, Doc Severinsen, here's the last tune. If you'd like to set this up or not.
Can I just
you can say whatever you
lay
want.
a word on you?
Sure.
A few things?
Yeah.
If you don't like what I'm saying, you tell me to stop.
Right.
First of all, I used to, when Johnny Carson was still around, I pretty much calibrated everything I was thinking and saying and how I acted according to what I thought he would approve of. And then you're my new hero in that respect. When I get up and I've got a headache, I don't drink anymore, or any less either. But in all seriousness, I measure how bothersome I'm going to let anything be to me, according to the way he behaves with the problems that he's overcoming so beautifully. But you know, it's so easy when you have a hero that has brought a lot of financial contributions in, has made people aware of what's going on with this. And so when we hear him talk about it, and other people, it's easy to assume they got it under control. I find myself doing it. Cancer. Yeah, I can say the word now. Didn't used to be able to say that. And you think, how about that? Isn't this wonderful? All the good work that the trumpet players that have worked with him, and he's been our leader. He is the leader. He takes us and guides us where we need to go. So naturally we assume, hey, everything is great, except for one thing. The disease is still around. And so I'm appealing to more to the people who are watching this on television of some kind. That if you've had a conversation with the other people in the room while they're watching this and enjoying the music, I mean, it's really been a fantastic show, but you're sitting there, you know, by golly, I'm going to increase the amount of money that I'm going to contribute to finding a way to cure cancer. And if that's what you're doing the right thing. Just don't skimp on it. There's a lot of research that can still be done, new medicines to try. We just got the news in my family that we have a cancer case that came up. And it's not easy to say that word when you're looking at a relative. Cathy's sister, her little sister. And when it gets personal like that, or like we feel it personally here because we know this guy. We know this guy. So we're going to be generous. Now there's some people can only do so much, and they'll probably be the first ones to get in there and go down deep as they can go. But there are an awful lot of people that could do a lot more, and the United States government could get off their dead ass and do something about it too. And this woman sitting down here says, did he say what I thought he said? Yes, I did. The government needs to, they act like with health care, like, oh my God, we can't help these people. They don't deserve our consideration. We've got millions of dollars and they don't have any because they're no damn good. Other than that. So I'm just saying, not to you here, because I don't want a lot of you, I don't want you wrestling around, digging down in your pockets. People think you're doing something else, and we can't have that. It doesn't look good. It's not a good look. Groping is not a good look. Ask Harvey Weinstein, he could tell you. Does not look good to give soothing ministrations to somebody who doesn't want them. But, okay, I've had my say. We are. Now, you know, I want to just say a word here because we're mostly musicians here. Trumpet players, first of all. And, you know, they kind of get down on Texas sometimes because they're politically quite conservative. But you know what? If you want to find out how conservative they are, you move into a new community, and you've been there a couple of years now, you're beginning to know people, and you go to the school board meeting where they're going to discuss what the allotment of money for this and that's going to be. And some guy gets up that moved down from New York State and he says, well, listen, I got something I want to say about this. You're spending too damn much money on that band. And all the orchestras and all of that, the choruses. We don't need all of that stuff. We need our football band. That's all we really need. That guy he couldn't even go to his house to pack there'd be neighbors already packing everything up for them. So there you have a wonderful mixture of people can believe politically whatever they want, but don't mess with our music in our schools. We can always find a way to contribute to something we believe in. And if you don't believe this heroic struggle and all of us being together here like this, if you believe what we're here for, then call your accountant and tell them to write a little more onto the check. Will you do that? Will you do that? I'm talking to you. Will you do that? If you will, say yes. That's a pitiful yes. I want to hear yes. Do you want to help out more? Say yes. All right, call your congressman and tell them too.
All right.
When we were doing the Tonight Show and had a great band on that show, now I forgot what I was going to say. No, we occasionally came up with some interesting numbers and some that were not so interesting. I thought Johnny would like it if we played some rock jazz. And I had this one piece I thought was really good. And this one night we played again for evidently the last time. And Fred de Cordova wrote a note and sent it over from Johnny. It says, "Please don't ever play this tune again, ever." So I collected all the parts and took it out and put it by his car and set a bonfire. And that was the end of that. But Johnny was right. He said, you know what? The American people that watch our show like big band music. So Tommy Newsom wrote an arrangement called the 12 o'clock jump because Count Basie, God bless him, really got things going with the 1 o'clock jump. Then Harry James came along with the 2 o'clock jump, and we said 3 o'clock, no, that's overdoing it. We'll be the 12 o'clock jump. We're not going to play it, but I'm just telling you these things. We are going to play the 12 o'clock jump, and I hope you'll appreciate it. And thank you for being here, and God bless our leader. Oh, there you are. Do you know how much you look like Ryan Anthony?